Welcome to Arkansas Roots, KASU's showcase of the music, arts, and culture of the natural state. Today, we're speaking with 3 of the 4 members of Hank Nightshade and the Midnight Suns. This recently formed Northeast Arkansas band has created quite a buzz in the local music scene. They'll be performing a special concert alongside 2 other Northeast Arkansas groups this Saturday night in Paragould. This is Arkansas Roots.
Looks like it's time for one more trip down that old highway. Cracks in the asphalt greet me like an old weathered friend. All my days of rambling were well behind me. Here I go again. Here I go again. I've been on this road, a lot of things have changed, there's been a lot of pain. I ain't the man I used to be, hands don't seem to grip the wheel the same. I got miles full behind me, running from the flames, running from the flames. Distant memory, but this rolling ground reminds me who I wanna be, who I'm gonna be. Set a course to the horizon, close my eyes and just start driving. Gonna slow down till I break the motor down. Don't know where I'm going, but I know where I'm coming from. Real view showing nothing but smoke. The bridge is smoldering, but I'm not sure. Beyond ashes any longer, and burning down strong enough to breathe again. So I'm just gonna close my eyes and just start driving. I ain't gonna slow it down. Don't know where I'm going, but I know where I'm coming from. Real view showing nothing but smoke, and bridges is gonna take me. I'll keep the pedal down even if it breaks me. Oh, I'm just gonna drive.
Recently released music from the Jonesboro group Hank Nightshade and the Midnight Suns. That song called Drive. We'll hear from 3 of the 4 members of the band in just a moment. They'll be talking about their music and about an upcoming special concert they'll be having in Paraguay.
And Brett Burr.
This is KASU, the public media service of Arkansas State University. I'm Marty Scarborough. Coming up on Friday, October the 22nd at the Collins Theater in downtown Paragould, it's the Natural State Rocks Tour, featuring 3 great bands from right here in our region: Irish Red, Fallen Within, and Hank Nightshade and the Midnight Suns. And joining me today here in the studio are 3 of the members of Hank Nightshade and the Midnight Suns. Unfortunately, Hank unable to be with us, but we have Michael Lee Collins, Sean Kirby, and Robbie Rigsby. Welcome all of you to KASU.
How are you doing?
Hey, we're glad that you're here. So, first of all, since the radio show is called Arkansas Roots, let me ask each one of you about your own Arkansas roots, your connections to our area.
Sure.
And Michael, we'll start with you.
Yeah, actually, about 1999, I met up with Sean and Robbie, and we were in a band called Further Down for forever. And so when this came about, Hank was actually in the military station on the East Coast, and when he knew he was coming back home, he was kind of rounding up musicians, and we all kind of fell right into place. It's been a lot of fun and an easy transition for us because we've played together so long, for sure.
And that's something people have told me, that they knew that you guys had connections before you met up with Hank.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the style of music that Further Down played compared to now what you're doing with Hank.
So that was started out really, late 90s, rock and roll. The alternative scene or grunge scene was on, and it evolved into really a southern kind of thing. And I think with Hank, he was kind of acoustic based. So tossing that in, the Americana side of that with us is somewhere in between the Black Crowes and
Leon.
That direction. So it's been growing. The sound of that has been growing, kind of evolving off of what we grew up listening to and playing together too. So
okay. Well, speaking of growing up, did you grow up here in Northeast Arkansas?
I did. I was a West Side kid, and back in '99, I cruised over to Bay and tried out for Further Down. And no cell phones, no nothing like that. You had to answer your phone to get an address. And I remember them saying, meet us in the parking lot at Bay High School. And that's how it linked up and went over there and did that. But yeah, and we've been super tight ever since.
And Sean, you're originally from this area too?
I am from Bay, along with Robbie. Robbie and I have been best friends since we were 4 years old.
Oh, that's awesome.
We started Further Down in a small little bedroom in my parents' house, and they loved that so much.
They quickly built us a shed out in the backyard that was not insulated.
So, we're from Bay, Arkansas, man.
So how did the two of you decide, okay, we're best friends, but we're going to start playing music together? What was the motivation for you two to start playing music together?
Well, I mean, we both loved rock and roll. I mean, we grew up in the MTV era, where that's what you did on summer days. You'd sit there and watch MTV, and our brothers listened to good music. Our parents listened to good music. And then
Nirvana
hit, and then we were like, man, surely we can play these instruments, in particular, I remember one moment where we were on our bicycles riding around Bay, and there was a church it was a Pentecostal church, and you could hear somebody in there was loving some rock and roll because they were on the drums just bashing away. I was like, I'm going to play drums, and Sean's like, no, I'm going to play drums, and so he ended up playing drums, and I started on the guitar. So,
okay,
and it worked out.
Well, it's interesting that you pointed to Nirvana, because I think the moment Nirvana appeared on MTV is kind of something like that happened 30 years earlier when the Beatles appeared on Ed Sullivan,
exactly.
And everyone started, hey, I want to be in a band. I think for your generation, that moment of that Smells Like Teen Spirit video,
sure,
you guys are all shaking your head and nodding along with that.
Yes. I saw Dave Grohl play, and I was like, I want to do that. But later on down the road, there was a band that came out. They were like 14 at the time, Silverchair. And so that's Robbie and I like, we can do that. They're
Same.
14, they're 15. We can be in a band.
We could barely play our instruments, so we focused on writing songs. Like that's and that's what we tried. We would play easy songs. We were huge fans of, Guns N' Roses and Metallica as well, and those were a little hard for a new beginner.
We played whatever songs came in the guitar tab guitar world that month. That was on the front. That's the songs we played. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little context for our younger listeners. Guitar World was a magazine that you actually had to buy at Hastings.
Yes.
Which you would get
all those tablatures that you get on Ultimate Guitar, they were in a magazine that...
Yeah, you had to pay for years ago. It's now free for anybody who wants it. So.
I still have half my collection.
No YouTube. You had to learn how to play on your own.
That's true. Again, I'm visiting today with members of Hank Nightshade and the Midnight Suns, Sean Kirby, Robbie Rigsby, and Michael Lee Collins. Hank and the band will be performing at the Natural State Rocks Tour. This is an event happening at the Collins Theater in Paragould on Friday, November the 22nd, 2024. And Michael, you referred to the fact that you guys had played together and that Hank was looking for some local musicians. Tell me a little bit more about how you guys crossed paths with Hank and decided to get back together and make music again.
So Hank's...
I was in a band with...
Yeah, he had played with Sean before, and Hank actually told us the story that he's 6, 7, 8 years younger than us.
Yeah.
Anyway, he said, man, do you remember that time you wouldn't let me get on stage when I was young? And I was like, no. And he said, I come up there trying to get on the stage on the Further Down stage and play one, and you just kind of blew me off. And I was like, man, I'm so sorry. But, fast forward years later, he's got a fantastic voice. It's undeniable. And, it's funny, the difference when you're young, 6, 7, 8 years is a million miles away. When you grow up, that's nothing. But it's been a fun transition getting him in the band and writing along with him.
It really came full circle when we had a memorial concert. In the core members of Further Down, like us three, we play with another guy for funsies. We'll do covers. We call ourselves Music for Cougars. And anyway, we decided to have a memorial concert for our friend from Bay. He had passed away. His name was Doug McFarland, great friend of ours, and we wanted to keep his spirit alive. So we really kind of invited a bunch of musicians to come up and jam, and then, Hank needed somebody to back him up, and so we learned a few of his songs, and it just felt natural. It came together really well. It just felt good. So we started focusing on writing songs together, and that's how it kind of came about.
Okay. Well, I want to ask, since you guys were already kind of cohesive as a unit, what has Hank added to your music, and what do you feel like you've added to his music to create this new sound?
Good question.
I used to be the front man in Further Down, so it was definitely different for me to bounce over. I play bass in this group, and I really enjoy it. It's different to stay in my lane and not be the lyricist for the most part. But as far as the music goes, I cut my teeth with these guys, so I guess we kind of had to learn how to translate his take on guitar and the chords and keys that he plays out of. But it's been a growing experience for us too, and it's been a lot of fun. But it's been just different. We've communicated just by looking at each other on stage for the past 25 years. So adding that to the mix has taken a little bit of learning, but the transition has been pretty smooth for us, for sure.
I believe the music. This music's a little slower and softer than we've used to playing. So we've kind of had to adjust the way we play, especially me.
Yeah,
because I'm a heavy hitter, and I like the heavy music. But this has been a great thing for me. It's changed the way I played, and I love it.
Okay.
I think for me personally, I came from Further Down, we had another guitar player, and it allowed me to be a lazy player at times. And so in this band, I'm the only guitar player currently. And so I've had to learn how to be creative on multiple fronts and, keep it cohesive sounding. So it's made me a better player. I mean, taking me a step back, you know.
Well, you mentioned learning Hank's songs. Are you basically playing his songs, or are you guys collaborating now in the songwriting process?
He had 7 songs acoustically already written, but we kind of helped shape those out. And now we have got some more new songs that we've all written together. So it's coming. You could kind of see once we added all of our flavors and our taste, it's kind of just became what it is. You know,
It's always fun to see and hear, you know, when you change a member or add a member or take away everything, you know, it's funny the impact it makes on the sound itself. Just a little bit. I mean, like I said, I've been playing with these cats for 25 years, and we could go set up right now and play 100 songs, and just the 3 of us, and you get Hank in, who's got this massive vocal and a different take on his instrument, and it's fun and interesting, and it's never a dull moment for sure.
Again, my guests today here on KASU are Sean Kirby, Robbie Rigsby, and Michael Lee Collins. You may know them from the past as being part of the band Further Down. They're now playing with Hank Nightshade as the Midnight Suns. And they, along with Fallen Within and Irish Red, will be playing at the Collins Theater in Paragould at a show that's being called the Natural State Rocks Tour. That's going to be on Friday, November the 22nd. Okay, we're going to get back to the present in just a second, but I want to think a little bit about the past. You know, you guys kind of came of age, started playing music together, as you said, about 25 years ago, at a time in which I think, to me, that was kind of like a really big growth spurt in the Jonesboro music scene.
Sure.
Because I remember back to the 1980s and 90s, there wasn't a lot of live local music going on, and you guys are, you know...
Yeah, there was nowhere to play in Jonesboro. When we started playing, there was nowhere to play.
We had to make our own gigs, and our first gig was Sigma Chi Buffett Bash. When we were in high school, we played that. We were so scared, but after that, man, we thought we
were rock stars.
We were, and so yeah, we started to make our own shows. Like we would do the Moose Lodge, and we would pack that thing out. Like, you know, no one had anywhere to go to shows, and we would do.
We'd come up here to ASU,
different colleges,
and plaster the place with posters and people's cars. I'm sure, you know, the dean was probably well pleased with us.
Back then, and it's such a different thing now. You know, we try so hard to help every other band we play with, and back then, I don't want to say it was a competition, but
it was a competition.
It was a competition just because there weren't very many places to play, and you know, you're throwing elbows and trying to get in here before they do, and being able to embrace, you know, like Irish Red, you know, Chris Claude, he and I are really good friends, and being able to do shows like this with those guys that we've been jamming with for a long time, because, you know, back then, if you were on the bill, you weren't letting anybody else on the bill. You were literally competing for a place to play, and it's definitely changed the mindset. And we probably all grew up a little bit too.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Well, I mean, for example, for one thing now that wasn't around 25 years ago is that you can hear live music somewhere in downtown Jonesboro just about every night of the week.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Tell me about the impact that has had on the local music scene to have so many venues, particularly in the downtown area, that now welcomes in bands.
It's exciting to see. First of all, there's so much talent. There's so many young folks out there. And, you know, the bar is raised every generation, you think. There, you know, I know you see clips of Eddie Van Halen playing things back in the day, like nobody's ever going to be able to do that. And now you get on TikTok and you see some 10-year-old kid that's just waxing it.
Yeah.
And, but no, it's been awesome to see the level of musicianship coming up, and for there to be so many places for kids to play now is going to make a big impact even years down the road.
Yeah, it really you know, having all these places to play highlights the talent that we have in this community. I mean, it's everywhere. There's talent everywhere, and it's, I mean, before you never knew it. I mean, everybody played guitar, but, you know, there was nowhere to showcase it. Now there is.
Well, and for years, for decades, it seems like when you think of Arkansas current music, well, you got to go to Little Rock or you got to go to Northwest Arkansas. But it seems like Northeast Arkansas is sort of really starting to carve out a name and a reputation for some great musicians and great bands like yours now.
I think it's the the community of musicians, like everybody helps each other out now. It's so crazy. Like you'll see all the fans from one band go watch, someone else's band just because you went to watch them. They just share fans, and then they just get involved with each other. Like our singer Hank, he was in with Veely with Amanda and her band, and now they're all helping us out. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Again, my guests today here on KASU are members of Hank Nightshade and the Midnight Suns. They'll be playing along with Irish Red and Fallen Within on Friday, November the 22nd, beginning at 7:30 at the Collins Theater in downtown Paragould. Well, another thing I want to talk about in terms of kind of the difference when you guys started in high school, in your bedroom, to where you are today, is promoting local independent music. I mean, you were plastering posters back 25 years ago, but now tell us about some of the things that you're doing to get the word out and how that's changed. Maybe a challenge for your generation to be able to get the word out.
All of us have had some success in the business, and we get calls all the time. Hey, my son's this, he can play that. What can we do? And, the entire game has changed. TikTok, go to TikTok, and I think of all the flyers. I mean, when I joined Further Down, there were tons of bulletin boards all around campus, and we'd have neon pink flyers, and we would cover everything else up on that board, and I'm sure we made everybody mad. But the thought of doing that now would be comical, and no one would even know. If it's not connected to their phone, people are not going to find out. It's a different promoting is a different monster for sure.
I'm terrible at it. Sean's really good.
I do most of the promoting for this band. I make all the flyers, and we do a lot of Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Just all and Twitter. I mean, you got to use all those platforms, or no one even knows about it.
Yeah.
So,
well, another thing that you guys have done is you've made a really great video that you've released just recently. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we have a place we have a buddy that owned this place in Truman, where the Ghost of Ozarks.
Ghost of Ozarks.
The movie was shot with David Arquette.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, he let us use this spot. His name's Rob Hester, and we have a buddy named Nathan Minton that owns his own, video production company, and he was like, listen, I want to get in with you guys. He just wants to help us out. So we decided, got a concept for this song. It's kind of like the end of the world and Run to the End of the World. And we have our buddy Chris is walking around through it, and he can hear us playing, but it looks like The Walking Dead everywhere. And so finally, when he comes to the end where our stuff's at, we're gone. And so we love it. It was fun. It was such a fun thing to do.
Technology, man. I mean, the thought of, I remember going to recording studios and being overwhelmed with everything. And now kids in their bedrooms can record things, just top-notch stuff. And, with Nathan, the guy that shot the video for us, he can do everything. He had a video pretty much complete the day after we recorded it. And to think of, we had done videos in the past, well, it's going to be at least weeks and maybe months before you had some kind of final product. And we did that. We shot that video on a Saturday. Well, by Sunday morning, he sent us a message, said, well, I stayed up last night. He said, I'm just getting some colors set for these transitions. It'll be ready today. And to think of how far we've come in 20 years with things like that, it's just unbelievable.
Especially recording this album.
Yeah. You want to talk a little bit about that?
So, Fallen Within, right there, the singer, Derek Brandon, has a studio. And so what we've been doing is Robbie and Hank will do like a scratch track through acoustic and vocals, and they'll send it to Derek. I'll go in, Michael and I'll go in, and we'll cut the bass and the drums at this studio. He'll send it back to Robbie. Robbie will do all the guitars, and then send it back over to Derek Brandon.
Yeah,
and Derek,
home studios.
Derek will do all the vocals, and then we send it to Ken Lanyon in Nashville with he's
Rick Beato's
engineer. And so, I mean, he's a top-notch guy, and so he works his magic and makes it just. That's how that sounds.
Yeah, this is the first time we've ever recorded anything like that. Like, we've done little demos and stuff like that, but as far as actually putting out a product that we are confident in, you know, we've always used recording studios and dropped lots of money, you know, in these big-time studios. And, heck, you know, I can do it. All the guitars in my bedroom, you know, like while my kids are running around.
For the price of a few days in the recording studio, you can have the equipment to do
it
your
yourself.
part at the house.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, you made reference to what you've done so far. You've released 2 singles. What are plans for more recording and more releases from Hank Nightshade and the Midnight Suns?
We have a new single coming out.
The Devil in My Heart, it's just almost finished. It's being mastered right now. And, you know, we're in brand new waters ourselves. You know, the last time we released a record, it was you go get your 10 songs and you release it on a CD. And now, you know, as soon as you get it, you drop it. And like, you know, we were talking before, then we'll put it all on an album together collectively. But it's music moves so much faster these days, and getting it to the people.
You know, the hardest thing about this whole situation has been for me is because I've been designing all these album covers and just letting them decide which one they want to use. It's like we all like different things, so it's been fun, and we've done this band totally different. In the past bands, we just get together, we go out, start playing, record an album as we're playing gigs. We haven't done that. We've done the album first. And
we wanted to come out with a batch of songs that was impactful instead of just going out and kind of like playing covers, because we can do that with our buddies. I mean, if we want to go do that, but we wanted to make this band like unique in that sense that we write a bunch of songs, and you know, we have all these songs, but we are continually writing. Michael writes, I write, Sean writes, you know, and then Hank writes, of course. And then, so that's what we typically try to do.
It's always fun, you know, getting your finger on the pulse and truly listening and seeing the direction that the band, because, you know, like we were saying, yeah, we've played together forever, and you change one ingredient and it does change the sound. And we're figuring that out. It's evolving within itself right now, and it's pretty exciting to see how that comes along.
I don't think any of the songs on the album sound like the last song. Like like those 2 songs down, Drive and Run to the End of the World, they don't sound anything alike. And then Devil in My Heart is straight up some rock and roll Rolling Stones. It's totally different. So I love it.
Yeah, it's kind of
have a song for
hodgepodge of.
We have a song for everybody, I think.
Yeah. Well, okay, like you said, you're putting the music out, but then you're going out and doing some live shows. I know you've done a few around the region as Hank Nightshade and the Midnight Suns, but tell us a little bit about what you guys, when you play together live, like you're going to be doing at the Collins Theater on the 22nd, what is the sound and I guess maybe the material? I mean, is it some covers? Is it some stuff from back from the Further Down days? Tell us what your live show is like.
Yeah.
So this really started out, and we've kind of beefed it up a little bit. I mean, you get 3 rock and rollers in a band, it's going to get a little heavier than the acoustic guitar. Really, we've been figuring out how to make it cohesive and be maybe a little heavier, because that's who we are, and making it smooth, you know, in with the Americana. So we don't get too far over the edge, but we turn it up too. But it's been a lot of fun, and you know, the more we write, the cleaner that progression gets, and it's been really exciting.
I think it's going to be mainly all originals. We may
throw in a few covers.
We may throw in a few covers, but that's been fun as well.
Trying to find the perfect cover, you know, it's like, you know, it's hard for all of us because we all have such eclectic tastes, you know, and
it's almost like bringing up politics like around Thanksgiving dinner. Like we all want to do a different.
And then we have this singer that can sing anything, and so we're trying to get him. We're like, man, you got to try this song. He's like, man, that's too much. And so
we want to make sure the covers represent who we are. You know, and really we haven't figured that out just yet. But I mean. you know, when this album's done, we'll know who we are. You know, the sound will be cohesive. I mean, the album's going to sound like us ultimately, but we wanted to find some covers that perfectly match who we are, you know.
Yeah.
We must have tossed around 50 cover ideas, and I think the other night we might have all agreed on one.
And it wasn't even in the mix, right? We
Yeah,
just
we
started
weren't-
When I
playing
started
it.
playing this, I was like, this. And it fell right
And
into
we
place.
just
So we're
all
like,
knew it and
"Oh,
started
okay."
playing it. So that's what happened.
That's the fun part of this is the curiosity of not knowing what's coming out and seeing it unfold in front of us too, for sure.
The main thing that's special about this band is there's no pressure. You know, like, you know, we're parents. We're like living life, you know, and we're just trying to have fun, you know, and that's the most important thing. I think that's what makes our band, you know, so much fun is that there's no pressure, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Not having the pressure of quote unquote making it, and these days it's a different. You're not chasing that white dragon of a record deal anymore,
Yeah.
and it takes a lot of pressure off in its entirety, and we really do have a lot of fun with this.
I mean, we just want to make a vinyl.
Well, you know, it's funny.
That's it.
It's funny that you said that. I interviewed someone the other day about their new album, and literally the only physical copies you could get were on vinyl. They weren't
Yeah.
doing CDs
Yeah,
anymore.
that's
Is
what
it-
we want.
You know, so that kind of leads into my next question. I mean, what do you guys see as the future for Hank Nightshade and the Midnight Suns? Do you guys have any goals, any plans where you'd like to see this going, either short term or long term?
I think we'll see what happens when the music. We truly do believe in this, and you know, we haven't pigeonholed ourselves so much that we're, you know, this acoustic Americana thing or this rock and roll thing. We're right in the center of being able to kind of float in a few different directions. So that takes the pressure off of us of being this or that, and it also helps us be able to play with these rock bands that we've got coming up on the 22nd. And you know, honestly, we could probably play with a country band too.
Yeah.
turn the volume down a couple of clicks, and
I think
and roll that
our
way.
primary goal right now is to finish recording the songs that we're intending for this record that we have, which is crazy because we keep writing so many good songs. But then after that, you know, trying to get a decent booking agent to where we're not killing ourselves, but we're still playing a little bit here and there at our pace.
Yeah, we're looking for like opening acts and like festivals.
Yeah, well, and you guys are totally in that lane from everything I've heard from you and seen about you guys so far.
That's what we want to do.
You made reference to Derek Brandon and Fallen Within. I want to give you guys just a chance to make a little shout out about these other two bands that are going to be playing the show with you on Friday the 22nd. What can you tell us a little bit about them?
Well, Fallen Within, those guys have been around for a long time as well, and a bunch of talented guys. Derek, you know, he can write, sing like a champ, and then Matt, the guitar player, that man can sing like a champ too. So they're just a good band. You know, they have that early 2000s new metal rock and roll, that kind of hinder, kind of Slava flavor to them, and I think on that lineup there's a band for everyone. And Chris, they have such a unique sound for Irish Red.
Yeah, I mean, they're straight up 90s rock too. Like I would say they're kind of close to like better than Ezra meets, you know, Seven Mary 3 or, you know, I mean,
Default, something like that.
both bands, great writers,
Great singers.
great guitar players, you know. They're just
It's nice linking up with seasoned musicians, and you still learn. I mean, you never stop learning playing music, and those guys are inspiration for sure.
You know, Derek's been helping kind of co-produce this album we're doing, so I mean, he knows his stuff, so he's been fantastic.
Yep.
Well, then my last question, I guess, probably be directed to you, Sean, since you seem to be the social media techie guy here from the bunch. If someone would like to connect and learn a little bit more about Hank Nightshade and the Midnight Suns, where would you suggest people start looking for you online?
You can go to Facebook, you know, Hank Nightshade and the Midnight Suns. You'll just have to type that gigantic name in, and you'll find it. Instagram, all the links are hooked to our Facebook. You can go to YouTube, watch the video, and we have other videos up of recording, and we have a couple lyric videos up. So yeah, you can go to YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram,
See all Sean's glorious work. Yeah, he does.
and TikTok. Like, never know what you're going to get from us on TikTok. So,
Well, it's great stuff. Like I said, the two songs you've released so far, we've gotten great response from them here on KASU, and I'm sure that you guys have as well. Really excited to hear more new music from you. Again, my guests Sean Kirby, Robbie Rigsby, and Michael Lee Collins. They are 3/4 of Hank Nightshade and the Midnight Suns. Again, unfortunately, Hank can't be with us today, but look forward to an opportunity to visit with him sometime real soon. They, along with Irish Red and Fallen Within, will be playing a show Friday, November 22nd at 7:30 at the Collins Theater. That's located at 120 West Emerson Street in downtown Paragould. They're calling this collective of these three bands together the Natural State Rocks Tour. They're all great groups from right here in Northeast Arkansas. Guys, thanks again for being so generous with your time and coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks
Yeah,
so much.
thank
Look
you for
forward to
having
hearing
us.
more of your music and being able to share it here on KASU.
We appreciate you guys.
thank you.
And here's music for you now from Hank Nightshade and the Midnight Suns. This one's called Run to the End of the World.
There's something going down, word's been going round. We may be inching towards the end of our day. People screaming on the news, everybody's got the blues, and they're all thinking that it might be too late. Too late to save us all. Judgment Day is gonna fall, and we're gonna pay for the sins that we made. But I'm not gonna let the paranoia bring me down. No, I'm gonna live till it's my time to go. If this is gonna be the end, the final day of mice and men, let's run out and greet it with a smile. Let's run to the end of the world. Baby, let's run to the end of the world. If we're gonna go down, let's go down in flames. Don't you worry too much about the way it's gonna end. It's never been about how you die, it's how you live. Ain't no use in obsessing with the way it's gonna be, baby. You're messing with something higher than yourself. Relax and take a step back. Where you are is where you're at, and you can't change that, no. If this is really gonna be the final dance for you and me, let's dance till we can't dance anymore. Let's run to the end of the world. Baby, let's run to the end of the world. Oh, yeah, if this is really gonna be the final steps we take, then let's run to the end of the world. Baby, baby, let's run to the end of the world.
Hank Nightshade and the Midnight Suns with Run to the End of the World. The band, along with Fallen Within and Irish Red, will perform this Friday night at 7:30 at the Collins Theater in Paragould.
Support for K